Hello, my name is Chuck from Perforce Support. Today I will cover basics of specifying journal file, checkpoint, and journal file rotation locations. Perforce has done all of the hard work for you to make your checkpoints reliable and easy. Let's spend a few minutes reviewing some basic information that you must know. Journal. Without the number. The journal is a working Perforce server transaction file. This is where all table update commands are recorded since the last good checkpoint. Journal.someNumber or name.jnl.someNumber. These are backup rotated numbered copies of a transaction journal at the completion of a checkpoint. Checkpoint.someNumber or name.ckp.someNumber. This is your checkpoint file. This is an ASCII formatted copy of all Perforce database table entries. It is created by performing the p4admin checkpoint or p4d-jc command. Let's do a quick overview of the checkpointing process. You run the checkpoint command using p4admin checkpoint or p4d-jc. Immediately after checkpointing, then you do a operating system backup of the archived directories. And of course, you should always make sure that the checkpoint and rotated journal files are in a safe non-p4 root location. Checkpoint and journal numbering. In general, checkpoint.n plus journal.n equals checkpoint.n plus 1. This means that the working journal number will be incremented after a checkpoint. You can determine the current working journal counter by running p4 counters-e journal. Location. There are two configurables that determine the location of your working journal and your backed up, rotated checkpoints and journals. The first of these is p4 journal, all uppercase, and this determines where the working journal is located. The second is journal prefix with an uppercase P. This determines the location and file name of checkpoints and rotated journals. P4 journal can be specified in the environment or on the startup command line using a -uppercase J flag. Note that you cannot change the working journal location while the server is running. Say as an example, I want my working journal to be in the directory /journal. On the server command line, I could just simply add a -uppercase J /journal/journal. And the next time I start up my server, it will use this location for the working journal. I want my checkpoints and rotated journal files to be placed in a directory called checkpoints with a base name master. An example, master.jnl.someNumber or master.ckp.someNumber. What I would do is set the p4 configurable journal prefix. So I would type p4 configure set journal prefix equals /checkpoints/master. Of course, the other question that you may have is, what is the history of my checkpoints and journaling? And this comes up quite often in support. Well, the answer to that is just type p4 journals. This will show the details of every single checkpoint and journal rotation that has occurred since the server was first initiated. Another good command to know is p4 counter last checkpoint action, and this shows the status of the last checkpoint. Another very useful command, as we were saying earlier, is the p4 counter journal command, which shows the current working journal number. An alternate form of this is p4 counters /e journal. Let's look at a couple examples. I've already started a pretty plain configured server. I've done a p4 configure show that kind of shows you that there's just nothing special about this server, so everything is default settings. A p4 counters-e journal shows that the current journal working journal number is 37. I'm going to go ahead and do a checkpoint. And you notice it's checkpointing to checkpoint 38. You created an MD5 checksum for the checkpoint, and it rotated the journal to journal 37. This also means that it incremented the current journal to 38. If we look at the journal files, we see that it's created a new working journal called journal, and then you see the rotated journal.37 in the P4 root, and that's because we have done nothing to locate the journal file elsewhere. If you look at checkpoints, you see the checkpoint 38 and checkpoint 38 MD5 are also in the default P4 root location. Now, the good news is that we created a successful checkpoint. The bad news is if anything would happen to our server P4 root, we would lose all of our ability to recreate the server. So let's go ahead and stop our server. And I actually created a new run file that actually includes a new -j volumes ext hd2 working journal for the location of our new working journal. Before we would restart the server, though, it's very important to actually move our current working journal to the new location. And that's because if you were to start the server without doing that, you would have actually half the journal in one location and half the journal in the new location, which would not work very well. I'm going to restart the server. And now I'd kind of like to be able to place the new checkpoints and rotated journals also in a different location, right outside the P4 root. That would be safe in case something terrible happened to my P4 root directory. So what I've done, I'm going to set P4 configure set journal prefix to a new location, and for our purposes we'll pretend like this new directory is on a different drive that is safe in case our P4 root drive failed. And we're going to call our new server stub test-server. And we hit enter. We see that it acknowledged that this was, everything was good. So now what we're going to do again is we're going to do a P4 configure show. And now we see in our configuration that it's picked up the P4 journal location using that -j flag on the startup line. And we've also created it's successfully created a journal prefix location, which is also in the configuration. If we do a checkpoint now, we see a big difference already. We see that it's checkpointing to that external location, checkpoints and rote_journals test server, and it's also rotating the journal file from working journal to checkpoints and rotated journals test server journal 38. If we do a ls of that new directory, we indeed see the checkpoint has been placed where we want it, and the rotated journal has been placed also where we actually asked it to place it. If we do a P4 counters -E journal, we see that the journal number has been incremented to 39. And lastly, to get an idea of our history, if we do a P4 journals, as you remember, this will list our journal history, and we'll pipe it through more. We see the a block that tells us the last checkpoint action, and it shows the location of that checkpoint, the date, the plain English and version of the date and time, the MD5 checksum, and the type of file that it is. You'll also see a block has been created for a rotated journal. It says type journal. In fact, in both these blocks it says exactly how these were created from an admin checkpoint. It gives the journal number, the file name and location, and in the case of a journal, it doesn't create a digest because it's simply rotating the working journal to a backup name. And if you notice, we also have blocks for virtually every other checkpoint that we have done on the server. Thank you for watching our video. I hope that you learned something new that you didn't know perhaps before, or something that would make it easier to configure your server. We have some excellent online knowledge base articles at community.perforce.com, Perforce System Administrator's Guide. And I've actually included a couple links here to relevant articles on checkpoints and journal prefix. Again, thank you, and you have a great day.